WFM 91.7.
Oga police, waiting be this. You just stress me, you test me. Now which guy I be this? Why you doing this? Oh no.
15 minutes past 6. This is Women Radio 91.7. All right, it's the evening experience. I'm trusting your evening is rolling on smoothly where you are today. It's Wednesday, the 5th day in February 2020. My name is Oludolapo Adewale. You can simply call me MC Dolly, and I'm here to make sure your evening rolls on a smooth note. Trust your day has been fantastic so far, from our wake-up show to the big question to different programs on this dial. I'm trusting that you've enjoyed every bit of it. Yes, we promise to always keep you informed, educated, and of course entertained. This is Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. Today on the Evening Experience, we have something big on our hands. I'm telling you, really big. Today we're looking at, is the police, are they misogynist? That's a big question we're asking this evening on the Evening Experience. I'd like you to be part of the conversation this evening. We're looking at police brutality. We're looking at the question, is the police a misogynist? Misogynist is a term used to describe someone who dislikes, despises, or is strongly prejudiced against women. And there are different synonyms as regards misogynist. They call them anti-feminist, they call them women haters, they call them a chauvinist, male chauvinist in this instance, they call them sexist sometimes. And we know that sexism can be defined as an ideology based on the belief that one sex is superior to the other. So, misogynist or sexist people believe that the male gender is superior to the female gender. And they go on to discriminate, to be prejudiced about the female gender. And most of the time is expressed towards girls and women. So today we're asking a big question, is the police misogynist? And I will not be doing the talking alone. I've got three people that will be doing justice to it. And not only those, my guests will be talking about it. You at home will have the chance to talk to us. You have the chance to tell us live experiences, whether the police is indeed living up to the expectation of protecting the lives and property of people around. We'll be looking at all those dynamics today on the program. We want to also hear from you whether the police have actually assisted you to do something well. We've had cases of people who have told us in glowing terms about what the police has done. So we're going to hear from both sides of the divide. And we're still trying to connect with the public relations officer of the police to hear from his own side of the story. So today we're looking at the question, is the police a misogynist? First up on the line, I have the first guest, and I'll be unleashing my first guest right about now. My first guest today is a human rights activist. She's also a filmmaker. She's the co-founder Dorothy Njemanze Foundation. She was the lead plaintiff in the Dorothy Njemanze and 3 others versus the Federal Republic of Nigeria case contesting gender-based violence by state actors on women in Abuja, and that yielded a landmark judgment. Now, join me to welcome Dorothy Njemanze. Good evening to you, Dorothy.
Thank you for having me on. Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the program. Okay, let's start like this. Since you are a lawyer, I'd like you to just give us a legal perspective. What's the legal or constituted duty of the Nigerian police so that we can put it in the right perspective?
Okay, first off, I'm not a lawyer. I have lawyers that work for me. I'm a woman.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'm a woman who identifies as, an emotional being with human rights and non-negotiable human rights. And so to the extent, I know my human rights and I defend my human rights, and I help other people to be in touch with their human rights. Primarily, the police is supposed to protect life and property of the citizenry, and so that's the primary the primary function of the police. And in the process of protecting life and property, the police is supposed to, there are proactive and reactive functions of the police. But thus far,
okay, all right.
we are not particularly impressed with the proactive functions of the police. A lot of things exist on paper and that do not exist in practice. And by and large, they translate to aiding and abetting abusive trends or, abusive trends. And misogyny is one of those abusive trends.
True. All right. In case you're listening to this program right on Women Radio, don't forget that we are on social media right now. Go to @WFM917. Drop your comments on our social media platforms, and we'll be so glad to read them on the program. The numbers to call on the program: 07000 917 917 090 256 254 55. I've got my first guest right here, Dorothy. She's a human rights activist, and she'll be giving us insight into what we're discussing today. Dorothy, still continuing the conversation, what's your overview of the impunity, seeming impunity that we have right now in the Nigerian police force?
Well, the people in the Nigerian police, it's important to remember that they're products of the society and they're a huge reflection of the society. If there's high misogyny in the society, when recruitments are done into the whatever force it is or whatever system it is, whether it's political offices or wherever, then that's how misogyny gets elected into those positions or appointed into those positions or employed into those positions. And so that's how misogyny infiltrates systems that are supposed to protect human rights in Nigeria, and the Nigerian police force being one of them. And so remembering that, it's also important to have ground rules.
True.
And ground rules should usually be guided by human rights. So that, on several occasions, as somebody who is a first responder to sexual and gender-based violence situations, we have had situations where, because the issues were based on violations of a woman or a girl, it wasn't seen as serious enough. It's believed by so many people that for calamities to befall a female, she brought it upon herself, either through her dressing or she seduced somebody. And so you have people,
the blame game.
Accuse house helps of seducing Madame Oga and all those kind of crazy things. So,
True.
The idea that women are thought to be inferior to men, it largely has infiltrated the police. It is very much there. And then, of course, we have realistic facts on ground. The police does not have funding for investigation. And because the police does not have funding for investigation, remember, ordinarily, issues of women and girls are not given serious prevalence. And so when it comes to access to justice for women and girls at the police stations, it's really abysmal. You're expected to provide the money. You're expected to, give reasons why you're human enough to be given your human rights. It's a generally flawed system, but the beauty of it is with efforts of organizations like yours, awareness on these things increase, and more people are conscious of what these things amount to and how to mitigate the effects.
True. Last year, we had series of cases of police brutality, especially against females in Nigeria. And recently, this year, the story of Banga Goodness, who was coincidentally a lawyer. She was trying to pursue a rape case, and in the process, she was actually beaten. And of course, a whole lot of things happened to Banga Goodness. A lawyer, someone who is educated, someone who knows her right, but still the police found a way to mete out this justice to her and this injustice to her. And it happened in Enugu state of Nigeria. What's your take on the reactions that have trailed this particular situation? At the last information that we got was that the police are yet to actually make a decisive statement about this ongoing case.
Well, the first disgrace about it is that by now the police has not come out to issue an apology for endangering the lives of human beings. And so that tells you how insensitive to the lives of women the Nigerian police is. And for me, it's a very personal thing, being somebody who has been a victim of police brutality several times, verbal brutality, physical brutality, to think that after the years, having gone through all these things, with all the advocacies and all the investments in capacity building and, knowledge sharing on human rights, these kind of things are still happening. It is very appalling. This, for me, is a reminder that as a human rights defender, for each additional case that we decide to take up, our lives are more endangered. And really, there's nothing for human rights defenders in Nigeria. The police is supposed to be partners in progress to human rights defenders and not endangering the lives of human rights defenders, especially human rights defenders that advocate for the rights of women and children. It's appalling. It's totally unacceptable. It is something we should keep on condemning. In 2017, the Nigerian police in Abuja released my colleague and I to a mob.
Really?
And so, yes. And what were we doing? A child reported that she was raped. I didn't understand why the police refused to look into the investigation despite the condition of the child. And we decided to go and get the facts and figures to help this child to put forth, a report. And that was the only crime we committed. But for the fact I was doing a Facebook live video, only God knows I may be dead by now. My colleague may be dead by now.
Wow.
So these things, I know firsthand the amount of danger that is involved in all of this. And to think that it's been happening in pockets and it hasn't been tackled, it gives me more.
It tells a lot. It tells a lot. 26 minutes past 6. In case you just joined us, the program is the Evening Experience. But today it takes another turn. We're looking at something very, very important. We're asking a big question: is the police a misogynist? We're looking at the police brutality, the trend in Nigeria, and it, of course, is an ugly trend that we indeed want to stop. And we're looking at the recent case of police brutality on Imbanga Goodness, a lawyer who went through a whole lot in the hands of the police. And right now on the phone, I have Dorothy, who just shared her own personal experience while advocating for people. She got
just one of the experiences.
Yes, just one of many. True, one of many. I'd like to also hear from you at home. Please call us on 07000 917 917 090-256-25455. You can also send a text message if you can't call at the moment. Do well to send it to 0703 1756537. On Twitter, the conversation is ongoing there. You can catch Dorothy's comment right here on Twitter. You can find it there at WFM917. Let's get the conversation going on. I'd like to hear from you. What do you think the police has been doing to ensure your safety? Do you think they're working hard enough for you to ensure your safety as a woman? That's the question I'm throwing at you at home this evening. I'd like you to react on this. Dorothy is giving us insight into the topic. Dorothy, back to you. Do you think these cases of police brutality here and there, do you think is going to affect the way rape victims have trust in our security system?
Definitely. It has affected over time and it is still affecting it. Now, there are these ideologies, there are these myths that rape victims do not like reporting, violations when they are violated. It's not true. They like reporting, but they don't like being re-traumatized. We don't have safe systems, that people can report to. Until the systems are completely safe and don't re-traumatize victims, then it means that we're encouraging the reportage to decline as against to increase. We're not encouraging people to utilize the systems. We're scaring people away from the system. And so, that the very negative impact of it. And remember also, when the attack on Wakol happened in Enugu, that endangered the life of the lady, there were other people who came to report cases and they fled for their lives. So you can imagine how so many other cases went. And it was a case of rape that was being reported.
True.
Now, if this lady says she's so traumatized and she wants to drop the case, I would totally understand, why she's dropping the case. it's bad enough that she's dealing with being raped, and then further still, she's dealing with a lot of unnecessary pressure, and she's seen other human beings being brutalized simply because she wants to access justice. And it's a horrible situation.
Exactly.
We'll stop talking about it. We will keep on condemning it. And you see, one thing I'm very happy to do is to let us all understand that it's not a case in isolation. It is not a case in isolation. It's a systemic flaw that needs to be fixed.
True, and we'll keep the conversation ongoing. I want to say thank you very much, Dorothy, for sharing your thoughts with us on the program this evening. We'll need to just get the word out there, and we wish you all the very best in your endeavors. Thank you very much for speaking with us on Women Radio.
I'm always very happy to share. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Okay, that's my first guest on the Evening Experience today, Dorothy Njemanze, a human rights activist, and of course someone who is also on the field doing what she knows how to do best in human rights. Just so you know, this week, precisely on Monday, some civil society organizations staged a protest in Enugu over the female lawyers that were brutalized by the police. They took to the major streets of Enugu metropolis protesting police alleged brutality on members of staff of a non-governmental organization, Women's Aid Collective. It's called WACO. And of course, the attack on WACO staff left at least one of the female lawyers critically injured. And a little background into that story. And it was on Monday, the 27th day of January 2020, a young lady made a distress call to WACO's office in Enugu that she was raped that evening by one Mr. Uchenna James Emenike, a 22-year-old man. And the legal team of WACO considered that report and thought it wise that rape was such a serious criminal case that should require police intervention and, of course, investigation. And to that effect, one of their lawyers, talking about Ibanga Goodness, took the victim precisely to Area Command Enugu with a petition informing the police of the development. And long story short, the police decided to take the matter differently, and brutality followed thereafter. The current situation is that the police are yet to issue apology. They're yet to make a statement on this matter, and it's causing a whole lot of worry, a whole lot of serious talk here and there about what is happening to police and the police force in Nigeria. So we are asking this evening, is the police a misogynist? Do you think they are sexist in their policies, in their behavior? Do you think that it's a deliberate attempt to hate on women? That's a question we're asking this evening. You can call me to share your thoughts, to share your experiences on 07000 917 917 090 256 25455. The text message line is also open. Send your comments on the conversation to 0703 1756 537. 0703 1756 537. We're trying to connect with our second guest on the line, and we do hope to have her in a couple of minutes from now. This is 27 minutes to 7, Women Radio 91.7. I now have on the line my second guest for today. She's the president, she's the chief executive officer of Change Managers International Network, Felicia Onibon. Good evening, Felicia.
Good evening.
Good evening, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to start from the name of your organization, Change Managers International. There's something about the police, and they always use this mantra: police is your friend. Police is someone who you can talk to. And there was sort of a police rebranding some years ago. Do you think the police has indeed changed from what we used to know, or they're still, fraught with different things right now?
Actually, for me, I'm really surprised, because I actually thought by now that the police that we have, will be a better police force. considering the opportunities they've had, over the years, particularly since they have adhered to, they have signed to the gender policy that was developed for them, and we got to know that they put women in strategic positions in the force as a result of that, and that the welfare for women, particularly in the force, had improved, and they now have gender desk officers in every police station.
Yes.
So these are new things that should inject new ideas, new systems into the police force itself. But unfortunately, more than ever before, we are now seeing the other side of the police, which shouldn't be. Like the situation that happened in Abuja, where girls were being arrested, and they were actually their clothes were pulled off, which is not supposed to be. Our police force from beginning, we had seen them as friends. There was a media hype on police being a friend, and there was a time when indeed you meet police officers and they will behave in a very civil manner to people on the street. But unfortunately, what we are seeing now is it's really sad. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know why it should be so. Which takes me to the area of the to the top police officers. If you engage with them one-on-one, you see that you are actually engaging with gentlemen and women that are very exposed and highly educated. So what's happening with the rank and file?
I wonder why that is not cascaded to the very person on the street or on the decks.
Yes. So that's the shock I'm having. Even in the past, they respected the fact that the civil society organizations were actually helping to enlighten people about what's going on, and they had shown respect to that fact. But for them to actually be attacking civil society organizations, people who are working to ensure that there is sanity in the society, and you get them arrested, you get them beaten up. What's going on? I mean that beats me, and I don't even know who we should be talking to.
True.
Because the noise so far, I had thought that the IG would have come up with statements. I think the police has to be curbed. The rank and file needs more training. They need to be exposed to the things that is happening and how they should behave, and that is needed, and it's needed. We needed it yesterday.
True.
So
all right.
To be done immediately. Yes.
All right. This is Women Radio 91.7. You're listening to the voice of Felicia Onibon right there, and she's talking about the police brutality, the cases, different cases in Nigeria. And the question we're asking tonight is that: is the police a misogynist? Is the police doing a deliberate attempt to hate on women and be prejudiced about how the woman is treated? You can be part of the conversation this evening. I'd love to hear from you at home. Do well to call us on 07000 917 917 090 25455. You can also explore other channels of communication. Go to our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook platforms. Please drop your comment there. It's at WFM 917. Our text message line is 0703 1756 537, and you can also send your WhatsApp message to that particular line. All right, I still have Felicia right here. Felicia, Oluwaseun Deji of Stand to End Rape. She mentioned something that as society allows the entrenchment of abuses such as illegal detention and sexual exploitation of women by the police. She's saying that our society has somehow made it like a normal thing. Do you agree with that statement?
I don't. No, I mean, when you say our society, you're saying that the civil society, that everybody, seem to agree to that, and that's now the norm. No, no sane society will agree to that. No, the problem is that when things like this happen, the way people react to it, matters. And in Nigeria, I really would not want to believe that an average Nigerian will want to be happy that rape has taken place to either a young person or an old person in the community. It is not an acceptable norm, and it shouldn't be. What I'm worried about is the process of arrest and the process of reportage.
Okay.
She probably would have, made that statement due to the fact that perhaps in a lot of communities and in a lot of societies, people don't want to report.
And that's a big deal. People are still keeping quiet about issues because it looks like they don't have trust in the systems that are supposed to give them that solace. Why do you think so?
People are afraid. The fear, is that if somebody is reported, and if somebody is reported and nothing is done, the person can now face whoever came to report the matter. Just this morning we heard of the case of a man whose wife confronted over the abuse of two children, of their two children, two daughters. I think a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, were being abused. And rather than arrest the perpetrator, who is a pedophile, the woman was arrested because he was the one that went to report first. So
that's a very, very, very serious situation there.
And I understand the judge has given the custody of the children to the man. It is totally unacceptable in any society in the world today. When situations like that happen, especially when there is an investigation and the facts are known, such children should not be given to the man because their life will be destroyed. So what will police do about this? It means that they respect the person that has an upper hand.
And that brings again to the issue about women economic empowerment and so many things that are tied to that. This is Women Radio 91.7. You can be part of the conversation tonight. Felicia is still very much here on the phone. Call us up on 07000 917 917 090 256 254 55. On Twitter, you catch comments of Felicia there, and of course previous comments made by Dorothy on our Twitter handle at WFM 91.7. 17 minutes to 7. We're still very much here on the evening experience. Oludolapo is still here as well. And Felicia, the lawyer in this recent case, talking about the lawyer from Wakol, her name Ibanga Goodness, she was detained for hours alongside her colleagues. I would like to, in your previous work with people in this case, on what grounds should a person be detained in the first place, and for how many hours, for how many days should someone be detained, even for not having anything at all to actually go to the police station?
Depending on those you have, an individual meets at the police station itself. When the case is reported and it is known that the person has no offense, it shouldn't even be a matter of hours, except if there is some form of investigation taking place. The person should be released immediately. So the issue of detaining such individual and detaining her even overnight is wrong, or for hours. It's not right, and the police know that, except perhaps if there is an investigation going on, or some police officers have been sent to go to the supposedly crime location.
Okay.
And they found new facts that they need to further investigate. Then the person can stay with them. But then they even can release the person on bail.
All right. What led to the high rate of this impunity we're witnessing in Nigeria right now? Talking about the impunity in the Nigeria police force, I'm going to ask you two questions in one. What led to this impunity state right now, and how can we retrace our steps?
In fact, in the recent times, I keep saying patriarchy, patriarchy, patriarchy. I think the social construct of the police officers, policemen particularly, still has a big shadow around them, even at work. Because if they go around arresting women, molesting women, even if the woman has committed a crime, it's no excuse for anybody to molest that personality. If police is our friend, they are meant to see us anywhere and help us, even without, in the first instance, before knowing what the situation is. A police officer should not be standing while a woman is being brutalized and looks at it as, she deserves that punishment or she deserves to be beaten. It is not right.
So how can the police now restore this public confidence that has gone or fizzled away basically in the Nigerian public? How can they do a change agenda for the Nigerians?
I think they have the capacity to do that change. I do know that their public relations department have educated, qualified personalities as head of such departments in every state in this federation. So the police, they know what to do, they know what image making is, and they know how to go about it. And they should do that. And not only telling the public that the police is our friend, or telling the public that we have changed, they need to train their staff.
Training.
They should train. They should train officers. They should train them. If they train them, they will know that, there will be changes. And apart from that, they should also do drug tests. Do drug tests for
some people have advocated that in times past, saying that sometimes, especially people who fire arms without due recourse to the environment.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Felicia Onibo, the President and Chief Executive Officer, Change Managers International Network. I'd like to thank you very much for speaking with us on Women Radio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good evening as well. Okay, the conversation is getting intense. We're looking at different dynamics of police brutality in Nigeria. Let me just quickly share with you a few instances, especially that were recorded last year in terms of police brutality on women, to be specific right now. It happened to men as well, lots of them last year. But tonight we're looking at women. March 18, 2019, an 18-year-old girl, Adiyat Sikiru, was killed by a stray bullet fired by a policeman in Adamo community of Ikorodu in Lagos. And last October, a 31-year-old Nigerian lady, Anitha Akpasin, she just returned to the country after bagging a degree abroad. Guess what? She was killed by the police in cold blood. And that's a rather sad development. Another one that got my heart really shaken was a young graduate. She's just a member of the NYSC. Her name, Linda Igwetu. She was killed by the police on July 3rd, 2018, on her way home from a place of primary assignment in the Mabushi area of Abuja. And this is rather a sad development. You think about what our parents or what our guardians will go through at that particular point in time. We are saying, is the police a misogynist? That's what we are asking this evening. I'd also like to hear from you. Share your thoughts, share your experiences on how this has affected you in different areas. Call us up on 07000 917 917 090 256 254 55. Twitter is very much available for you. I'd like you to drop your comment on Twitter this evening at WFM917. Two guests have spoken with me already, Felicia Onibo as well as Dorothy Injemansi. I'm now joined by my third guest on the phone as well. She's a professor of adult education and women's studies. She's also the former vice chancellor at Taisho University of Education in Ijebu-Ode. She's currently a professor of adult education and women's studies at the Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU. And I'm being joined right now by Professor Oluyemisi Obilade. Good evening to you.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great. And how has your day been?
Good.
Okay. I'd like us to start the conversation proper. Okay. Let's look at the brutality meted against Barrister Goodness Ibanga. Some are advocating that it shows abuse of power from the police. How do we address the issue of abuse of power by security operatives, particularly to women?
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying that there are good persons in the police. We have worked with some of them.
True.
But there are a lot of very bad persons, bad eggs in the police, and this should be properly addressed. When you say the abuse meted out on the barrister looks like an abuse of power. It doesn't look like it is an abuse of power. It is a naked abuse of power, and it appears as if those who perpetrate such abuse of power fail to recognize that they are servants of the people, and it is very much skewed against women. There are a lot of reports. We've also had a lot of experiences when sometimes the person who reports a case becomes the person that is turned to the victim. Most of the time when it involves women. When there are issues concerning women, there is an inordinate use of force and abuse of power. There is a system of judging them guilty even before they open their mouth. And you see the police doing this on and on. How do we address it? First, by calling them out, and secondly, by ensuring that action is taken.
True.
People should stop folding their arms and believing that all is well. And the police hierarchy should address this in the form of training, in the form of sensitization and awareness, and in the form of dealing with those who step beyond their bounds, and dealing with it immediately. Very prompt and immediate reprisal will send a strong message.
True. Prompt and immediate. That's the word.
Yes.
All right. In case you just joined us, this is 8 minutes to 7 from Women Radio 91.7. And tonight on the Evening Experience, we're looking at the question, is the police a misogynist? In case you are wondering what a misogynist or who a misogynist is, it's simply a person who dislikes, who despises, or is strongly prejudiced against women, basically. Sometimes they call them women haters. Sometimes they call them someone who believes that the male is just the supreme being and all other genders are just inconsequential. That's someone who has a misogynist attitude. So now we are asking, based on this trend that we've seen happening in the police on women, is it safe to say that the police are misogynist, or are we quick to assume that the police are misogynist? Please drop your comment, share your thoughts on this conversation. We'd like to hear from you. You can also drop your comment on our Twitter handle at WFM917.
We are Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families.
WFM 91.7.